Hey guys, welcome to the Cast and Spear Podcast. My name is John, and we have back on the show Ted Harty from Immersion Freediving. And today's a little bit different. We're going to be doing a drill, and this drill is going to help increase your ability to hold your breath underwater. Welcome to the show, Ted.
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to talking about this episode.
All right, I can definitely increase my breath hold. I would love a drill that you can walk us through, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So this is one of the exercises that I recommend that if you're like at home and you want to improve your breath hold abilities, one of the ways you can do that is train, right? So everyone listening to this show, most freedivers, spearfishing, they want to improve their abilities, and they come in. There's basically two ways you can improve your abilities, improve your performance, right? When I say improve your performance, I mean dive deeper, stay longer. There's two ways you can do that. One is improve your technique, and technique. If you can be more streamlined, if you can kick better, if you can do your entry, those things, like that's one way to do it. And the other way to improve your performance is improve and train your freediving physiology. Teach your body to better tolerate low levels of oxygen, high levels of CO2, diaphragm flexibility, all these other things, right? So this is one of the exercises that I teach to get your body used to holding your breath and getting your mammalian dive reflex tuned in. So this is very similar to what I teach my students to do in class. So if you were to take anyone, Joe Blow off the street, and you said, "Hey, hold your breath," and then you timed how long they can hold their breath, and they didn't know what they were doing, they just held their breath, and then you said, "Hey, do it again," "Hey, do it again," and "Hey, do it again." Anyone, if they hold their breath 4 times in a row, they're going to hold their breath longer and longer and longer, right? Regardless of the techniques that they're using. That's because this idea of the mammalian dive reflex. So what we're going to do is, or I'm going to have you guys do, is I'm going to have you do 4 breath holds. So first thing you're going to do is what's called diaphragmatic breathing. And this may be new to some of you, but the idea is you've probably heard freedivers talk about how they breathe up, right? And so there is, a way that freedivers breathe up. They all do it slightly differently, and they'll all argue over which way is better than the other. But in general, they're all doing one thing. They're all doing diaphragmatic breathing. So the way that we do that is you want to take a breath. So you sit down on the couch, lay down, whatever. Take a breath using just the diaphragm. So you should feel your stomach moving out, but not your chest, right? So you move the diaphragm out, hold it for a second or two, and then you're going to exhale using your teeth and tongue to make this sound. And yes, I want you to make that sound because you're using your teeth and the tongue like a restrictor valve to restrict how much air is coming out, right? I don't want you to take a breath from the diaphragm and then go, and you're out of air in 2 seconds, right? Because you let it all out, right? So use your teeth and tongue to restrict that airflow, right? And just slower is better, right? There's no magic number, 10, 15, 8, I don't really care, but just slow exhalation. And then when you get done, pause for a second, and then you're just going to repeat. So I'll just do 2 cycles so you're listening to what it sounds like. So I do diaphragm only. Pause for a couple seconds, slow exhale using teeth and tongue. That relaxed volume, I'll hold for a second or two. And then again, hold for a couple seconds, then slow exhalation. So that's a diaphragmatic breathe up. Now, the one mistake that my students tend to make is when you exhale, I did not say exhale all the air out. I didn't go push every single bit out, right? You go to that relaxed level, relaxed volume, right? So that's diaphragmatic breathe up, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe up like that for 2 minutes. Then you're going to hold your breath. And you're not going to hold your breath for as long as possible. You're going to hold your breath to what I call 25% discomfort level, right? So maybe you just hold your breath, and maybe as soon as it gets a little bit uncomfortable, you're done. Then you're going to breathe up longer. So you're going to be better prepared. So you're going to breathe up for 3 minutes, and you're going to hold your breath to what I call 50% discomfort level. So you're definitely going to be pushing a little bit harder than you did on the first one. The first one should be like basically super easy. The 50% one, obviously a little bit more difficult. Then you're going to breathe up for 4 minutes, doing that diaphragmatic breathing, nice and slow. And then you're going to hold your breath for 75% discomfort. This one's going to be hard. You're going to have lots of contractions on it. And then the last one, you do a 5-minute breathe up, right? You do a 5-minute breathe up and then do a good one, 95% discomfort level, right? So this is basically the exact formula that I teach in my freediving classes, right? And not specific to me. This is what most instructors are going to do, something pretty darn close to this, and you will be shocked how long anyone, if you could get anyone, I mean, your buddy who doesn't even freedive, to understand and replicate what I just did of diaphragmatic breathing and do those things, anyone will be able to be shocked how long they can hold their breath. So that's a good drill because you can do it at home. The best freediving training on the planet is go spearfishing 7 days a week. If you can do that, that's the best thing you can do, right? Most people have jobs, family, wives, kids, all these things, and they can't do that, right? So they only get to spearfish in these small opportunities, right? So if you can train your dive reflex, which is part of what we're doing, is you're getting your body more comfortable doing these breath holds, you're gonna be able to perform better, right? Now, everyone listening to this podcast has probably experienced the dive reflex getting tuned up. If you've ever been on a 3-day trip, you've probably experienced this. The first day, as soon as you get down to the bottom, contractions come early, the dives are hard, it just like sucks. You're like, God, this is terrible, right? And then the second day, you're like, okay, like I kind of remember how this works. It feels a little better. And then on the third day, you feel like a rock star, right? You can stay down forever. Like your holds are good. You see the fish far away. You're like, I'm just gonna sit here. Maybe I can draw the fish into me, right? And then you go home, and then you don't dive for a while, and then you repeat this process over and over and over again, right? So my point is, why not go through the sucky part at home on the couch? Why not train your freediving physiology? Why not train your breath hold ability and your mammalian dive reflex by doing these breath holds at home before your big trip? So now when you show up, you're already better off, right? So, this is the idea of the training, the physiology side of freediving, which most freedivers and most spearfishermen don't do. But once again, I always say this all the time, as competitive freedivers, one of the reasons we dive stupidly deep is we know how to train for our sport, and this is one of the ways we do that.
Can you do it too much, or is it not possible?
Oh, you can absolutely do it too much. In fact, almost everyone who gets serious about freediving or spearfishing at some point is going to stumble across, I got to train. I'm going to do the breath hold apps or whatever. And they always overtrain. When I used to have competitive freedivers hire me to train them, almost everyone, even though I said very clearly, like, you only want you doing these, 2 days a week or 3 days a week, right? They never listen. They want to come into super freediver, and they train them all the time. And what happens is you can overtrain. So if I wanted to have big biceps, if that was like my number one goal is I want to have like gigantic biceps. If you know anything about weight training, you probably would say, Ted, you probably don't want to do that 7 days a week. But yeah, but I want to get super biceps. I'm going to go do biceps every day, right? Like, actually, no, you need to rest and recover, this, that, and the other, right? So from a physiological standpoint, these breath hold exercises, they're hard. You're stressing your body out a lot. So by doing them every day, you're creating stress in that way. But most importantly, mentally, you're going to sit on the couch and suffocate yourself. You can't do that 7 days a week without your body rejecting it, because I know I learned everything the hard way. I remember Kirk telling me, Ted, you want to do these no more than 3 days a week, 2-3 days a week. And I'm like, what does Kirk know? I'm going to be a super free diver. I've got records to get, and I'm doing them 6-7 days a week. And that worked for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I remember I would break out into sweats when I would when I was going to start doing my training. And then I started going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. And it just all went terrible. And then I'm like, oh, that's why Kirk said only do them a little bit. So yeah, so do them no more than 2-3 days a week. And it's not a sprint. But if you do that as part of your routine for a month or two, it makes a huge difference.
I love that. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I think that's a perfect place to stop. If you guys want to reach out to Ted, he's at ImmersionFD on all the socials, and I'll put a link to all the different places where you can reach out to him. Tomorrow, we are going to switch topics a little bit and switch into hunting in bad viz and how we can still stay safe with our buddy. So thanks for being on the show, Ted.
If you're interested in learning more about training, I have a 28-day at-home freediving program that teaches 5 of the most effective dryland training exercises that I know of and personally use. So what I just shared today was one of them. So the program is, it's a month-long program. You get 5 different breath holding exercises. You're getting access to a private Facebook group where you can ask me questions, and you also get access to Noob Spiro's 99 Tips ebook. So if you're interested in that, take a look in the show notes. You should be able to take a look at the course there.